Hello and welcome to the show. Now, many people fancy the idea of having a property portfolio, and that doesn't have to be as grand as it sounds.
Absolutely. Even a relatively small amount of money can usually buy you something. And then you've got your foot on the property developing ladder. So where to start? But a good place is at the auction. Well, because of the variety of properties available, auctions can be really good value for money, and that is vital if you're trying to make a living from it.
So if you've done careful research and have finance available, there's no reason why you can't make a success of it. Let's find out what today's buyers went for.
Martel finds no space on the drive for a car at this semi-detached in Durham.
Off-street parking, albeit taken up by a skip just now.
There's another skip at this large property in Great Yarmouth, and I soon discovered why. This really is a building site. And in Wales, there's just a wheelie bin out front of the house that Martin's investigating with the help of two furry friends.
What I need you to do is go and snip out any damp, OK?
All these properties have been sold at auction, and we'll find out who bought them and what they paid for them when they went under the hammer.
It's going to be sold. Well done.
First to Durham, a friendly city with UNESCO heritage sites and beautiful landscapes dominating the entire city.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
It's also the birthplace of the much-loved British condiment, English mustard. But will the lot Martel's here to see cut it?
I'm in a popular area of Durham called Framwellgate Moor on a relatively busy road, but it's nice and wide, feels very spacious. And I'm here to see this 3-bed semi-detached house that came with a guide price of £150,000. It's a great spot for an auction lot because nearby you've got shops, primary schools, secondary schools, a local hospital. There's a lot of pluses so far. You've got your own enclosed garden, off-street parking, albeit taken up by a skip just now. You've got a garage too. Looks good. Let's go look.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
Inside. 2, your hallway, and next to the hallway you've got stairs leading up. There's lots of swirly textures on the walls, but nothing we've not seen before. Then through to a reception room. Well, actually 2 reception rooms, partially sectioned off from each other by these sliding doors, which sound incredibly squeaky and look quite dated, so I take them down. But first of all, this front reception area, you've got terrific bay-style windows, light flooding in. Yes, you've got old-fashioned wallpaper and swirly, flowery carpets, but nothing that can't be modernised. You've got an old-fashioned heater, you want to take that out. You've also got central heating, which you always want to get checked over by an engineer. Then through to the back reception room, which feels incredibly light again because light's flooding through that big window at the back of the house. Thorough modernisation required, yes, but your proportions, the space is terrific. It's a cracking start. Just when everything was going so well and everything felt so spacious, your kitchen is really small, but given this house feels like it could be an ideal family home, I think you want your kitchen. In fact, you need your kitchen to be bigger than this. So you could think about taking down this wall and opening things up. So you have a kitchen come diner, really desirable and spacious. That's a load-bearing wall, so you'd have to consult a structural engineer and that would eat into a budget, but it would be worth it. And then to the garage. So that garage feels redundant, given you've got off-street parking, and actually parking on the street doesn't seem too much of a problem. So if this is redundant, you could think about making use of the space, creating a study, an extra bedroom. It's a great option to have.
Converting this garage to create an extra bedroom could be a surefire way of adding value by making this a 4-bed property. And if this was combined with an open-plan kitchen diner downstairs, then you could end up with a very desirable family home. That being said, upstairs needs to work too.
Upstairs to a landing, so a kind of midway landing, and you have one room off this landing. Now, this room is above the garage, pretty much the same shape, the same size, and it lets you see what could be done. And then as I look to the ceiling, you've got some mold, some damp issues, so you want to get that checked out. Up a few stairs, you come to the next landing and you have a bathroom, get a new bathroom suite in there, it's a wee bit dated, as is everything, but it's also a terrific size. That front bedroom, great size double. This 3rd bedroom, terrific proportions. So 3 double bedrooms upstairs and a bathroom. What's not to like?
There's plenty of space to make this a large family home, either for a buyer to move into or to rent. But any buyer would be wise to get a specialist in to investigate those signs of damp. This lot has plenty going for it, and the cherry on top is outside space.
Out the back, what do we have? Well, you've got yourself a lovely secluded garden. And what you do have, although it's nice, it's not the biggest of gardens, so I'd keep the greenery you do have and tidy it up and make the most of it. But wouldn't it be lovely to have patio doors here opening up onto your garden? Really nice. What a bonus for family living or whoever lives here.
Time to get the thoughts and valuations of a local estate agent and find out what they make of this 3-bed semi-detached home with a guide price of £150,000.
So I think the property's got a lot of potential. A lot of work does need doing. A full refurbishment and renovation does need to be had. Obviously, new kitchen, new bathroom. But other than that, I think it's a great property.
So, if a buyer was to upgrade this property and keep its current 3-bed layout, how much could it achieve on the rental market?
Once this property's been renovated, I would expect to achieve a rental income of £1,200 per calendar month.
And what about its resale value as a renovated 3-bed property?
I expect it would have a resale value of £210,000.
And if a buyer was to convert the garage into an additional bedroom, making this a 4-bed home, what sort of values could they expect?
You would expect to achieve £1,500 per calendar month in rent, and the resale value would be £220,000.
This 3-bed semi has got so much going for it. And if you opened up that kitchen, it would really benefit the layout. But there's another thing I would think about here. I do my homework. In a desirable area like this for families, there may well be a real appetite for 4-bed houses. So converting that garage into your 4th bedroom can make an awful lot of sense. Let's find out who also loved this property when it went under the hammer.
This lot was part of a remote auction with bids taking place online.
Then in that case, 1, 2, 3, and gone, online.
With the successful bid of £150,000, it was TJ who bought this lot for bang on the guide price. He's an experienced property developer who had a good feeling about this 3-bed's potential.
Yeah, yeah, it's just the way I'm feeling.
TJ, pleased to meet you.
Thank you so much. Pleased to meet you too.
Congratulations on your purchase.
Thank you.
What's this for? Is this for you?
No, so it's an investment property. It's a nice family area, so I wanted to buy something nice and turn it into a lovely home for a family.
Great idea, considering the location. And the house itself has got family home written all over it.
Yeah.
Are you from here? Are you local?
So I live in Southampton. I'm originally from London, so I'm kind of far away from home, yeah.
And so why Durham?
Good rental, good family homes, great return.
So what's your background?
I run a number of businesses, but I've only been focusing on property for a few years now, so it's still quite new.
You sound like an international man of mystery. What kind of businesses have you been involved in?
Car rentals, recruitment business, education, Quite a number of things, yeah.
And now property developing, do you have time for anything else? Any other passions, hobbies?
Yeah, so I do make time for my nieces. They're literally my world. So I spend as much time as possible just taking them out, just trying to show them my properties. And one of them actually thinks she's an interior designer now because she's, oh, I want this, or I want this. So yeah, it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun for me.
And what attracts you to property?
I know it sounds really cliche, but it's safe. It's bricks and mortars. It can't disappear overnight. And if you give someone a good product or you create a nice home for someone, they look after it, so your investment is safe.
Is that the plan here, to rent this property out?
The initial goal was to sell it. So the initial goal was to create a beautiful home that someone's going to fall in love with and make it affordable and they can move their family in. But I might end up keeping it and renting it. The problem is I fall in love with these properties and I want to hold on to them and I want to move in myself, but it really depends on how everything turns out.
Talk me through, I mean, I can figure out why you think this is going to be a great family home. It's 3 bedrooms. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yes, we're probably thinking the same thing.
Make it a 4th?
Absolutely.
Right, talk me through your plans.
Okay. We're thinking about converting the garage into a 4th bedroom. Board up the current garage door, put a window in there, just make it a nice room.
You can see exactly how it would work because you've got the same size of bedroom above it, the
Yes.
mirror image above,
Yeah.
if you like.
Yes.
Then what about the current kitchen? It's quite small as it is.
Yeah, it's quite small. So what we're planning to do, again, depending on the cost, is to open up the dining room and lead into the kitchen. So to create kind of a modern open plan living. We're thinking about keeping the reception room separate from the dining room, just to give a bit more privacy.
Well, that all sounds fantastic. I spotted a wee bit of damp in the ceiling, on the ceiling above. Yeah. Do you know what's causing that?
I'm not too sure. But again, we'd have to get the builder in.
New kitchen, new bathroom.
Everything new, everything. I've got my eye on a perfect kitchen already, planning an island right in the middle there. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
Now we're down to the exciting detail. Yes. How long do you want this to take?
I hope it will be done in about 14 weeks.
OK, how does that work, given you're in Southampton, this is in Durham? Do you know people? Do you have a team ready? How's it going to work?
Yes, I've got a team. I work with the same contractor, the same builder for all of my work in and around this area. So, yeah, he's good and ready to go. He's pumped. I think he's ready to start today if we give him the keys. Now,
when it comes to budget, what are you thinking?
So we are about £35,000.
I've got faith in you. 14 weeks, £35,000. Yeah. I'm expecting great things from you, TJ.
Fingers crossed.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
TJ is absolutely brilliant, in no small part, because he cares so much. I loved hearing that sometimes he can't bear to be parted from the properties he's renovated because he's done such a good job on them and he loves them so much. That's exactly what you want. He's also utilising the space brilliantly here, creating that 4th bedroom in this lovely family area. I can't wait to find out how he gets on and what a job he does. You can find out later in the show.
Gorleston-on-Sea lies to the south of Great Yarmouth, with a huge bay, riverside and a stunning sandy beach stretching below cliff gardens and a grand promenade. Named the 8th best beach in the UK, it's a beautiful place to watch the world sail by.
Sail away with me, honey, put my heart in your...
Well, in a beautiful seaside town such as this is, I'm really expecting to find a property that has a little bit of interest, and I think I have. Here it is. This double-fronted Victorian building has a really interesting story. It was built as one whole home. During the Second World War, it served as an officer's artillery. Then it became a pub, and more recently, it became a veterinary hospital. It was then sold to a developer who apparently has started some major work inside. And then it was sold again at auction. I told you it was interesting. Let's take a look. This lot comes with quite the history, and all for the guide price of £250,000 to £300,000. Wow. This really is a building site. Clearly, some work has started, walls have been stripped back, but on the whole, the space is vast. This is an empty shell down here. And then through here, I've got to watch my step, lots of light coming through, which is always gorgeous. And then, wow, hello, through to this space. But yeah, everything's exposed. You can see that there's floorboards missing even upstairs. You've got the back door that's going out to the garden. I'll investigate that a bit later. So this building is actually on 3 floors. So you've got this, the ground floor, there's a first floor, and then there's that top floor going into the loft. But this property also comes with an added bonus. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Gosh, real narrow stairs compared to the size of the place, but once again, it's an empty shell. Walls have been stripped back to bare brick, but when I look up, someone has already done so much work. They have opened up that roof space and created the second floor. There is a lot of work to do here, but you know what? The space is incredible. Now, I haven't forgotten about the bonus with this property. It actually comes with planning permission granted to create 4 flats. On the ground floor, you'll have 2 two-bedroom flats. On the first floor, you'll have another 2-bedroom flat. Your 4th flat will be bedrooms on this floor. Upstairs, onto the second floor, you'll have further dwelling. All of a sudden, this property has become very interesting, and a new chapter begins.
She knows there's more to the story. She's gonna turn the page and find a better way. There's more to the story. Nothing set in stone. She'll make it on her own. She won't toss a coin in a wishing well, 'cause she don't believe in fairy tales. There's more to the story.
Well, this place also comes with this huge car park. Presumably, this was instated here for when this building was a veterinary hospital, so the clients could drive in and bring their pets to be seen. But this is also a great bonus for future tenants to have off-street parking, because this is one busy road. And this property keeps on giving. If you fancy increasing the already substantial footprint of the building, there's also planning in place for a rear extension. On top of that, there's a huge garden, which once cleared, could be a magnificent communal outdoor space. It's all sounding rather good. What's the catch? So, with 4 flats comes 4 sets of utilities. You're talking about your water, your sewage, your gas, your electricity. So you've got to factor that not only into your timescale, but also into your budget. We asked along an expert from the auction house that sold the place for his opinions and valuations on this property, guided between £250,000 and £300,000.
It needs everything from bathrooms, kitchens, plastering, carpets. It's a complete tour-upper right from start to finish, so there's a lot to do. Whilst the planning permission is for 4 units, there is the option to go back to the planners and perhaps turn it into 1 detached house. But I think the greater value is probably as per the existing planning permission for the 4 units, as I think the value will be greater overall.
What does the expert think the 4 flats could be worth once finished? And if the buyer wished to rent, would this be a lucrative venture?
Once converted, each unit could be worth around £150,000. So times 4, that's 4 units, is £600,000. Rental values will be around £600 per calendar month per unit. So that's £7,200 per annum for each unit, times 4, and you're looking at an annual income of nearly £30,000 per annum.
Well, this is a huge project, and although some work has already been done here, there's a long way to go before this lot becomes 4 flats. But you're in a great location, and if someone has the know-how, the budget and the imagination to see this through to the finish, they could be onto a winner. Let's find out who that was when it went under the hammer. This lot was sold at a remote property auction with online bids only.
You bought it? Well done, thank you.
The successful bid of £250,000 was made by brothers Howard, here on the left, and Ashley on the right. I was keen to find out more about why the siblings have decided to team up and take on this project. Howard, Ashley, lovely to meet you both.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, you too.
Why did you want to go for this building?
The location's great from the rental market, and the development as a whole to convert into 4 flats sort of really works for us for our portfolio, which we wish to do moving forward. The loft conversion had been done already. Obviously, there is always surprises that come a long way. The plans are slightly out from what we saw.
So, yeah, we're changing the original plans. We're going to change the layout because all the flats are different sizes.
Yeah.
So, we're going to change the layouts. They're all similar square meterage.
But so we'll have to get those redrawn, but it'll be okay. I'm sure there'll be more hiccups along the way, but we'll get over it. For the overall value for potentially 4 flats, what the end cost will be, we feel that it'll be great value for money and great return.
So is that what you do as brothers? You work together, you renovate and build properties?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have other roles ourselves in what we do. It's a side hustle.
Sideline.
Yeah, it's a side hustle.
What do you mean side hustle? What do you do as a front hustle then?
I'm a mortgage advisor by trade.
Oh.
Yeah, and I've got a construction company. So I've got plenty of connections, so yeah, it works really well.
That's very good. So you can get hold of these teams and these tradespeople that you need. That's perfect.
Brilliant.
What's the spec? What's the design plan?
We want to do things properly because ultimately it shows. People know what they're looking at now.
Yeah.
You do things too cheap, people see it. So the spec's going to be obviously, like good quality sanitary ware and good quality kitchens with decent worktops and taps, and not just a plain plastic switch. Spotlights in the lounge.
Nice.
The lounges and things like that, and just to do things right. For us, when you've stripped back like this as far as we are, the cost-wise,
it's not massively more, is it? So
to get it right, and then and ultimately that'll aim in a better return for us from the rentals.
With all of that in mind, your sort of design plans and the spec and everything, how much are you budgeting for?
Well, we're hoping we're going to do the whole project for 200,000.
Yeah.
So have to keep a close eye on the spreadsheets, I think.
Yeah, but ultimately, equally, we like things right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we'll stick to it as much as we can. Obviously, we need to. But if it's a few thousand over, it's a few thousand over.
Okay. What about timescale? How long will this take?
The plan is all in place, but we're going to get the drawings altered just for because we want to change the flat. So I think once we've got all that done, we're hoping to do it in a year.
Seems reasonable.
And then we need to sort out all the services as well. So
exactly.
they need to put all that into 4.
Yeah, so you've got all your 4
gas.
sets of plumbing, 4 sets of central heating, 4 sets of your wiring, 4 sets of everything.
But it's also the utilities to bring it in.
Yes.
So they're going to need 4 pipes or 4 pipes, 4 gas connections.
Yeah.
But I think once we've got that sorted, which we need to do from the start, we can then just crack on.
Yeah. I mean, someone has done quite a lot, especially when you look at that. They've really opened up that whole sort of roof area, haven't they?
Yes, yeah. We were very lucky with the previous owner that they'd done that. But then obviously...
all the structural steels are in place, which is a big bonus. So.
Yeah. Fantastic. You're going to be busy.
It's a bit fun. I try not to let this stress us out, No. I like to treat it as all as a bit of a fun and it'll be fine. Yeah. That's the way I see it anyway.
So long as you enjoy it, that's the main thing.
Yeah, we'll enjoy it, See stage for stage.
This is very, very exciting. What a great, major project.
Yeah, we are looking forward to it. And we can't wait to start.
I really hope you're still smiling at the end of it.
Oh, we will be.
You'll probably see some grey hairs.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, it was lovely to meet you both. And congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. 2 brothers with 2 different skill sets. They've got a healthy budget and loads of enthusiasm. But they're not going to cut corners on these 4 apartments. They want the top-notch developments for their discerning tenants. But this is Howard and Ashley's biggest project so far, and I'm sure there'll be a lot to learn along the way. How will they get on? You can find out later in the programme. Coming up, Martin makes a troubling discovery at a house in Wales.
There is something which is a bit serious here, and that is beyond that fence.
And find out what Howard and Ashley unearthed at their renovation.
And that was a massive surprise when we uncovered it and when we were sort of sorting out for the foundations.
We're heading back to Durham, where Martel saw a characterful 3-bed semi-detached house with a lovely bay window that let lots of natural light flow through into the large living and connecting second reception room. It seemed there was loads of rooms downstairs until...
Just when everything was going so well and everything felt so spacious, your kitchen is really small. So you could think about taking down this wall and opening things up. So you have a kitchen come diner. That's a load-bearing wall, so you'd have to consult a structural engineer, but it would be worth it.
There was also a garage ripe for converting into another room, so plenty of options to change the layout down here. And that's just what TJ, who bought the house for £150,000, planned to do. He lives a fair distance away in Southampton, but has a local builder he works with regularly who was ready to get started transforming this place.
It's an investment property. It's a nice family area, so I wanted to buy something nice and turn it into a lovely home for a family.
So what's your background?
I run a number of businesses, but I've only been focusing on property for a few years now, so it's still quite new.
You sound like an international man of mystery.
I can spy some puns coming in the script now. TJ wanted the property shaken, not stirred, and served up fully renovated in 14 weeks' time. He had the money and pennies, all 35,000 of them, set aside to do so. But did TJ have gold fingers when it came to this property renovation? Well, 5 months later, we're back to unravel this little mystery. Wow, removing part of the wall really has made such a difference to the layout down here and given downstairs a light and airy feel. Down the hallway, there's been more layout changes. There's now a door to what used to be the garage. It's now a bedroom, complete with an ensuite shower room with sleek, modern fixtures and fittings. So this former 3-bed is now a 4-bedroom family home. Just as TJ wanted, and it's thanks to his and his local builder, Lewis's, hard work.
So I'm really excited about a number of things in the property. Converting a garage was a big thing for us, and we were able to put an ensuite in there as well.
Now, we had to lift the floor joists in that room to allow adequate head height in the bedroom, so it was regulations, and also lifted the floor so it was the same height throughout.
But the thing I really loved about this property is the kitchen and how it's turned out.
My favourite thing is probably the media wall, just how we've integrated the lighting and the fire. I think it's a focal point to the living space.
This is an impressive renovation. Upstairs has also had internal renovation work with new carpets and clean, crisp, newly painted walls, giving anyone who moves in a blank canvas to work with. The tired and dated bathroom has also been modernised, and although still to be finished, will have the same sleek look as the other rooms downstairs.
What's left to do is the bathrooms to finish. That's pretty much it, really. Clad the ceiling, finish off a little bit of tiling and fit the suite. Other than that, everything is pretty much finished.
With TJ living in Southampton, looking after a project like this that's over 300 miles away can't have been easy.
I was more in charge of the design element, but Lewis is the builder.
Yeah, so we carried out the work with our in-house team, subcontractors, quite a few different trades, but the majority of the work is undertaken by myself.
TJ has built up a good working relationship with Lewis over a few similar projects in the local area. But has this partnership meant he's been able to stick to his original budget?
We initially factored about £35,000. We have gone over that budget by £1,000. We initially bought this property with the intention of selling it, so I think we've spent a lot of money on getting it to a really, really high and luxury standard.
That takes TJ's total investment to £186,000. But has that and the alterations to the layout been worth it? We asked back the local estate agent who saw it last time for her thoughts.
I absolutely love the layout changes. They've really opened up the space. They've gone for a U-shaped kitchen, which makes it a really nice social area, and it just feels a lot bigger, and it just really brightens the place up, and it looks amazing.
The agent's happy with the hard work TJ and Lewis have put in, but will the valuations make the grade for TJ, seeing as he invested £186,000 into this house?
On the sales market, this property could achieve up to £220,000 to £230,000.
I think that's significantly less than what we were factoring. We've spoken to a number of agents and we're looking at potentially putting a property on the market for around £325,000. However, the market has changed a little bit, so we are considering renting that property out for a period of time.
The agent's valuation would give a profit of up to £44,000, which isn't bad at all. But TJ is open to a longer-term return. So what do those figures sound like?
This property on the rental market could achieve £1,600 per calendar month to £1,700 per calendar month.
The rent at 1650 is pretty enticing, and that's making me want to keep the property and hold on to it for a longer term. However, if we are to get the sale price at 3250, it might be worth selling.
That could be a nice rental yield of around 10%. So either way, TJ and Lewis have done really well with this project, and hopefully there's many more to come.
This project's gone extremely well. The only issue is we did buy it initially to sell, but after seeing the end product, I've fallen in love with it, and I think we're going to keep it for quite some time.
Off now to the city of Newport in Wales. From Roman conquest to playing a pivotal role in Wales's industrial revolution, the city is steeped in history. Over to Martin now, who's got two little trainees in tow.
Well, this is rhubarb and crumble. And yes, I am training the next generation of builders' dogs. I'm just outside Newport to see this. It's a two-bedroom mid-terrace, guide price £92,000. Big question is, will there be any meat on the bones of this one? Come on, that's it. So, right then, there you go. What I need you to do is go and sniff out any damp, OK? Sniff out, use your noses, sniff out any damp. Very important job. Right, you go off and explore. So while they're going off to have a look around, let's see what we've actually got. It's a fairly standard house. Front sitting room here. Looks to be in pretty decent condition. Obviously, it'd be benefited, or would benefit rather, from a coat of paint, but, you know, looks OK. You're not supposed to be playing, you're supposed to be exploring. So through to the kitchen, there's a bit of a strange sort of passageway there leading through to the rear garden, into the kitchen. I mean, straight away I'm thinking if you knock through there to create a doorway into the back garden, you'd definitely improve this. The units, very tired, very dated, so you're going to have to replace those, and the boiler definitely looks like it needs some work. But I think it's one of those properties, you know what I'm going to say? Take out some walls and it will feel a lot bigger. So upstairs here, 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. I'm just trying to work out the original layout of this particular property, because under normal circumstances, the bathroom you might have expected to be at the back there, but you've got this little area under the stairs, so maybe it was always there. Nice news is that it's a good-sized bathroom. So only 2 bedrooms, but well proportioned. Downstairs, if you knock out some walls, you're going to definitely improve the livability of this. And in general, you know, what do you expect from a 2-bed terrace? It's a good one, and it's a reasonable price.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Martin. Inside has plenty of potential and is only really in need of a general makeover. But that's not all. There's still the rear of the property to explore. Let's go, Rhubarb and Crumble. Come on!
So at the rear of the property, bit of a surprise, quite a lot of space actually. A garden that goes back perhaps further than you might imagine. What do you think about this, guys? Yeah, good play space. Could do with a bit of grass and sorting out. However, there is something which is a bit serious here, and that is beyond that fence, because my assumption is, because it's mentioned actually in the documents, that that is Japanese knotweed. Now, you may well know, well, that's a certifiable plant. Very, 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 very nasty thing that gets all sorts of places. Its roots cause all sorts of chaos to buildings. So, yes, we understand that the neighbours have treated theirs, but there's another bunch of it at the back here somewhere. It may or may not be that thing there. But either way, it's something you have to take quite seriously, and you need to get rid of it, actually, and that is a professional job, because you really, really do not want that spreading towards the house.
Yes, any potential buyer shouldn't ignore the Japanese knotweed here. Leaving it untouched could result in some major problems. The backyard is an impressive size, and you could think about extending to increase the size of the living space. But if you're happy to stick with the fabulously big garden, a bit of landscaping would get it back to its best. So what will a local property expert make of this two-bed terrace? We've asked one along from the auction house that sold it to get their thoughts.
Property's what I would call tired. It needs quite a bit of upgrading, but it's all doable, nothing too scary. One of the major issues here is there is some Japanese knotweed in the garden, which will need a plan to be put in place. It also offers scope to be extended, depending on what the buyer is planning on doing, whether that's for buy-to-let, they could leave it as it is, but if they're looking to maximise the value, I would say extend out.
There are a few options that are worth exploring here, but once the work was complete to update the property, what returns could there be?
I would expect the property in its original configuration, but improved, to sell for £150,000, and it could let for approximately £800 per calendar month.
And if the future buyer decided to extend the property?
Once the property is renovated and extended, that you could look at an asking price of around £170,000 and a rental income of approximately £900 per calendar month.
So what do we reckon? Is this property as healthy as a dog with a wet nose, or do we have pause for concern? Let's find out who bought it when he went under the hammer.
This lot was part of a remote auction with bids taking place online.
Your number, please.
The successful bid of £108,000 was made by Tarsan and his wife Manga, who owns her own online fashion brand. Martin met with Tarsan to find out what they've got planned for it.
Tarsan, very good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me why you wanted to buy this property.
We're just looking for a next investment property, just to expand on the small portfolio that we're trying to build.
Okay.
And then we came across it in an auction. Yeah, it looked like an interesting property, had some good bones to go on it, and it was in a pretty good area. And we knew that we could put some, spruce up a little bit and hopefully add some value or possibly, rent it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this your full-time job now?
No, so this is something that I'm looking to go into full-time. This is our second buy-to-let property that we acquired. But the goal is to try and pursue this a little bit more and go upwards and see where we go from there.
So what do you do at the moment?
So I'm a project engineering manager.
Okay.
Working in the transport sector.
Okay. So why this particular house?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you've got good amenities around there. You've got a supermarket on your doorstep, but definitely I think there's a value to be added to it.
So tell me what you're going to do to it.
So I think overall we're gonna refresh every room, repaint the rooms where it's needed, tidy up wherever the walls need some work, then put a new kitchen in, and possibly put pretty much a new bathroom upstairs, new carpets, and particularly tidy up the garden at the back.
Yeah.
And try and improve that a little bit better, so when the sun's out, it's quite a nice sun trap. So yeah, so that's the general idea of it. And obviously also we're going to upgrade the windows to double glazing windows, so they obviously gives a bit more security and warmth to the tenants.
And then is the plan to rent it out or to sell it on?
I think we'll explore the market at the time after it's done and see if it's viable renting it, or it's better resell. But right now is to try and refurb the property, go from there.
Brilliant. So one of the things that we know about, I think it was mentioned, was the Japanese knotweed. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I'm aware of that. And to be honest, at the start we were a bit apprehensive about it. But after doing quite a bit of research and getting a knotweed specialist to come and visit and look at the treatments they can do, and in speaking to the neighbours, they've already got the treatment on their side, so that's good to know. And so that put a bit of ease into it. It's a little bit of cost on that, but that the overall spectrum of things, I think, when that's treated, then, and then the fact that it is not so close to the property, it is far from beyond the 7 meters. Well, I think that's what they specify. It's not within that, so it's way beyond that. So yeah, that's all in hand. And as soon as the garden's tidied up, the knotweed specialist will come and treat that, and that will hopefully eradicate it or limit his impact.
Perfect. So what's the budget?
Around about 20,000.
Okay.
That's the sort of key part we're trying to work around. Might obviously try and bring it down less as possible where it can be, but that's the key part to make the numbers work at least.
And is that with you doing some of the work, or are you just employing builders?
I think the majority of the key elements will be, employing trade to do the elements of it, but there might be small bits and bobs here where we can employ a little more DIY skills, maybe tidying up here and there and finishing up paintings and things like that, where there could be a saving, but mostly will be trades that will carry out the work.
Okay, that's terrific. And what sort of timescale?
We're hoping to get it sort of finished maybe 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can get it back on the market or get it priced for resale.
Okay, great. Well, listen, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
I look forward to seeing how you get on.
That's great.
Well, Tarsan certainly seems to know exactly what he's doing, and I think he's got a good property here. Most importantly, he's on top of the whole knotty problem of the knotweed. How will it all end up? You can find out later in the show.
Earlier in the show, we saw the results of one property renovation, so the burning question is, how did the other 2 buyers get on? Did their efforts pay off?
Well, time has passed, so it's time to go back and see what those properties look like right now. Back to Galston-on-Sea and this double-fronted Victorian property that had seen many changes in its lifetime. From an officer's artillery, to a pub, to a vet's, to this. Wow, this really is a building site. Clearly, some work has started, walls have been stripped back, but on the whole, the space is vast. This is an empty shell. It was a blank canvas spread over 3 floors and came with the huge bonus of planning permission for 4 flats, including a rear extension. It was bought by brothers Howard on the left and Ashley for £250,000. Howard is a mortgage consultant and Ashley has a construction company. They were going to put their combined skills to the test in building the 4 flats. 4 sets of central heating, 4 sets of your wiring, 4 sets of everything. You're going to be busy.
It's a bit fun. It's a bit fun. I try not to let this stress us out, I like to treat it as all as a bit of a fun and it'll be fine. Yeah. That's the way I see it anyway.
So long as you enjoy it, that's the main thing.
Yeah, we'll enjoy it, See stage for stage.
They hoped to have all the flats complete in a year and had set aside £200,000 for the work. 8 months later, we're back to check on progress. The single-storey rear extension has been added using handmade bricks to blend with the original building. Inside will be a 2-bed flat with an open-plan living area and study. Underfloor heating has been installed with the screed going on soon. And to the front of the property, you can see a new roof and most of the windows have been installed. Progress has been delayed slightly, with Howard and Ashley amending the plans, and they had complications getting the utilities connected for each of the 4 flats. But the stud walls are up. And the brothers are now at the first fixed stage across this large project, which must be quite the challenge.
It's just a lot more complicated with sort of 4 boilers, 4 fuse boards. Everything's just multiple rather than one. So I suppose that can make it quite a bit more complicated.
And all of the acoustics.
Yeah, the sound side of things is quite a big part of it as well, with the insulation and the sound proof boarding.
Which you wouldn't normally have to do with a single dwelling project. So, yeah, but other than that, everything was just a factor of 4, so it's not too much of a problem.
Upstairs is starting to take shape. Acoustic ceilings will be fitted to dampen the noise between the flats. Each flat will have 2 bedrooms and be roughly 65 square metres in size, with the ground floor flat to the rear being a bit bigger, as it will have an extra study room. And when complete, the brothers want the flats to have a high-spec finish.
Yeah, I think you could say that the high finish starts from the outside with the brickwork in the Flemish bond as well, and handmade bricks, and then obviously with the lintels, just goes in with the period features of the property, and then obviously inside as well. We just haven't got that far yet.
No.
That's the thing.
We've ordered the kitchen for this one, haven't we?
Yeah, we've ordered the kitchen for this one with an island. And we've got a well as well, which
will be lit up as well.
It'll be lit up, and that was a massive surprise when we uncovered it, when we were sort of sorting out for the foundations, which was previously covered over on a concrete slab. It's brick lined. It's about 5.4 metres deep. Yeah, it's going to be a lovely feature for the lounge. So when someone's sitting here and they have the glass and look over the top. Yeah.
The original well to the rear of the property is covered over for safety as the works go on, but it will be a unique feature when complete. This isn't their first property project, but it is their biggest to date. So how are the brothers managing the work together?
Money boss would be myself, but the project boss of making things happen is definitely this man. Yeah, yeah, that's you.
Yeah,
you
our own strengths, yeah. Push it along.
Yeah, you definitely push it along.
Push it along.
I'm there for the ideas and, the money side, yeah.
The brothers still intend to rent out each flat, and as Ashley has a construction company, all the work is professionally done and overseen by the brothers. But how is their original budget of £200,000 shaping up?
So far we've spent about 95,000. We're having a workout earlier, and that 95,000 includes the deposit for the windows, which we've paid, and the floor screed. So I think we've done really well there, and I think all in all, £200,000 should cover everything which we want to do to get them ready to rent out.
The brothers are still on track with their budget, but is this renovation heading in the right direction? We've invited back the experts from the auction house who sold this building and viewed it on our first visit to see what he makes of the progress so far.
The rooms and the flats are taking shape. The stud work is up. The insulation is in. There's a few windows still to be done, but it's taking shape, and I think there's quite a bit to do, but certainly what they've done so far, they've done a very good job.
If the brothers can stick to their budget, they're on track to spend a total of £450,000 here. But will it have been a good investment? How much could each flat sell for once fully renovated?
They could sell for in the region of £130,000 per flat, so 4 flats, over £500,000 when finished.
We've had a lot of agent round already who's said considerably more than that, actually. So, which is positive from what we've seen from a local agent in the market. So, we'll have to see what the finish is like and see what they say at the end. Yeah, all being well.
Even at the experts' figure of £130,000 per flat, if Howard and Ashley can stick to their budget, they'll be looking at a pre-tax profit of around 70 grand. But this pair are in it for the rental income. So what does the expert think they could expect?
I think each flat could command around £650 per calendar month. So that's around £7,800 per year. And for the 4 flats, you're looking at over £30,000 per annum, fully let.
So the agent we had come round, he said 2 of the flats would be around £1,000 a month for the ground floor flats, and the flat we're currently in the one above would be around £800 to £850 a month. That's the high standard finish we want to give for these flats.
It's hard to put a final figure on a project that's only halfway through, but if Howard and Ashley can stick to budget with the high-end finish they're aiming for and achieve their hoped-for rental figures, they'll be looking at a pre-tax annual income of nearly £44,500, or a yield of up to 10%. The brothers think there's another 5 months of work to do, so when we return, what should we expect?
When you return, everything will be finished, just all the carpets, everything will be in, and all the garden will be landscaped, and the car park will be complete.
And all modern kitchens and bathrooms.
Yeah. So yeah, be ready for someone to move in.
One step at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time, and
no problems. We both know our strengths and weaknesses with the project, so we just work together as a team. Works very well.
Back now to the city of Newport in Wales, where Martin and his canine helpers, Rhubarb and Crumble, saw this 2-bed terrace. It was in fairly decent condition, but in need of modernisation, and Martin saw the potential for a reconfiguration.
Into the kitchen. I mean, straight away I'm thinking if you knock through there to create a doorway into the back garden, you'd definitely improve this. The units, very tired, very dated, so you're going to have to replace those, and the boiler definitely looks like it needs some work. But I think it's one of those properties, you know what I'm going to say? Take out some walls and it will feel a lot bigger.
One element of the house which was already big was the back garden.
However, there is something which is a bit serious here, and that is beyond that fence, because my assumption is, because it's mentioned actually in the documents, that that is Japanese knotweed.
Japanese knotweed can be very difficult to get rid of, and if left to run wild, the roots can cause structural issues. But this didn't put off Tarsan, an engineering manager from Hampshire. He and his wife Manga paid £108,000 for the lot, and they had a decent list of work to get through.
So I think overall we're gonna refresh every room, repaint the rooms where it's needed, tidy up wherever the walls need some work, then put a new kitchen in, and possibly put pretty much a new bathroom upstairs, new carpets, and particularly tidy up the garden at the back.
Yeah.
And try and improve that a little bit better, so when the sun's out it's quite a nice sun trap. So yeah, so that's the general idea of it.
Tarsan hoped to complete the project with a budget of £20,000 in just 2 to 3 months. Now we've returned 2 months later to see how he's got on. Well, out the front, not much has changed, but it was in good condition to start with. What about inside? New flooring and carpet have freshened up the hallway, and the living room has also had a similar refresh. Tarsan has had double glazing installed throughout the property. And just look at that kitchen transformation. New contemporary units and fixtures have been fitted. It's also been slightly reconfigured to make better use of the space. Upstairs, a brand new bathroom suite has been installed. After stripping the wallpaper away, the walls were found to be in bad condition, meaning in the end, 90% of the house had to be replastered. Heading to the rear of the property, it's been cleared out and new fencing has been put up. And more importantly, there's no sign of that Japanese knotweed. It turned out to be only growing on top of some rubbish and not in the actual garden, making it very easy to get rid of. But there are still a few jobs left to do.
There's a little couple of snags around the property itself, nothing major. But the major thing is from where it was the garden to now it's just tidying up some of the things. The builders had some challenging weathers to work around, so unfortunately they couldn't get around to finishing before our deadline as such. So they're just going to come and finish off and tidy up. But it is miles better than what it was finished with, so we managed to tidy up and fence it and make it quite secluded.
The garden is much improved, but it's the inside that Tarsan is most pleased with.
My favourite part will be the kitchen. It's really maximised the space, and it has given a lot of space feeling, and also it's very functional. We also boxed in the boiler, so just to try and give a bit more of a nice appearance as well. And now all the drawers are like soft close and everything, so it's really nice. So yeah, it's good standard for the property.
My favorite part. My favorite part.
Tarsan planned to get hands-on with some of the renovation work, so where was he able to get stuck in?
In the garden, got quite a bit involved into the manual labour aspects of it, trying to just tidy the garden up, and much as it was a cost-effective way of doing it, but it was just another, felt like I was sort of getting involved in the project. Other than that, the contractors and the builders who's sort of been picking up everything else, to be honest, they were pretty hands-on on that aspects of it, not me.
Tarsan managed to keep comfortably within his timescale, with the work so far only taking 6 weeks. But has he kept on top of his 20 grand budget?
I haven't totted up to final, but I think we're around 19, so we're a little bit just under.
On time and on budget, I'm impressed. But what will a local estate agent make of this updated mid-terrace?
It's my first time in the property, and from what I can see, first of all, it's been decorated really nicely. Somebody's put a fair bit of care and attention into getting a nice feel. Everything's nice and new and modern. It looks great.
Tarsan wasn't sure whether they were going to rent or sell this property upon completion, but can the latest figures help him decide? He and wife Manga have invested a total of 127 grand here. So what could the returns be if they decided to rent?
Per calendar month, we'll be looking at about £725 to £800, closer to 800 because it has been done to a nice standard and demand is particularly high at the minute.
Yeah, so in terms of rental value, it's pretty much on the spot, really. So we were kind of expecting to be in similar sort of numbers.
So Tarsan is happy with that potential yield of 7.5%, but will he be pleased with the sales valuation?
For a sale of this property, we'd be looking at about £120,000 to £140,000.
Maybe we expect a little bit more, but you know, it is what it is. So we will have to take that as a valuation on it and see what we do with it.
The agent's top figure could see Tarsan and Manga achieve a pre-tax profit of £13,000. So Tarsan, now you've heard the figures, what are you going to do with it?
I think we're going to hold on to it. We're going to put it on the rental and see, go from there and get some sort of income for the time being.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed today's programme and hopefully you've got some inspiration from our buyers and maybe we've even given you a few pearls of wisdom.
Yes, we hope we've been of some help. And remember, you can head to BBC iPlayer to watch more episodes of Homes Under the Hammer. Just press the red button now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.